The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship with Foyle Legal. For advice tailored to your situation, please consult a qualified legal professional. Welcome to WA Injury Claims Explained, your trusted source for understanding personal injury claims in Western Australia. Each week, we simplify complex legal issues, from motor vehicle accidents to workplace injuries, so you can confidently navigate your rights and claim the compensation you deserve.
All right, everyone. So you know how it is, right? Holidays are coming up, and I'm already thinking about road trips. But while I'm picturing those awesome playlists and scenic routes, there's always this little voice in the back of my head like, what if something happens out there on the road? We've all heard those car crash tips, right? Like, keep your feet off the dash. But today we're going way beyond the obvious. We're doing a deep dive into a blog post from Foyle Legal. They're a law firm in Perth, Australia, and they have this crazy, insightful piece about surviving car crashes. And let me tell you, it's got some real eye-openers.
What I thought was so interesting is how they break down the actual physics of car crashes, in a way that makes sense even if you don't have a physics degree. For example, they talk about the 4 main types of crashes: frontal, side impact, rear end, and rollovers.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like we always hear about crash test dummies and stuff, but I never really got the why behind all the different types of crashes.
Totally. And if you get the forces that are happening during a crash, it makes it so clear why some safety things are so important. Think about a head-on crash. Your car stops totally right, but your body wants to keep going at the same speed. That's inertia. And if you aren't restrained properly well, let's just say it's not going to be pretty.
Okay, I could have lived without that visual.
Yeah.
But you're totally right. It's not even just about bracing yourself for a crash. It's about knowing what that impact will do to you.
Exactly. And that's where your seatbelts and your airbags are super important.
And this is where it gets really interesting, everyone. So we know seatbelts and airbags are important, but the article actually goes into the how and why they work. And it's honestly a game changer. Did you know there's even a right and wrong way to wear your seatbelt?
Right. You'd think it would be obvious, but so many people are not wearing their seatbelt the right way. Foyle Legal is really big on making sure it goes across your hips and chest and never your stomach or your neck.
Oh, wow. I'll be honest. I'm totally guilty of tucking the shoulder strap under my arm if it's bugging me, Gotta look good for that crash. But really knowing that now that's a habit I gotta break, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It can be a little annoying sometimes, but it's way better than the alternative.
Right.
The article is saying those straps are made to spread out the force of the impact over the strongest parts of you. It's your hips and chest, they can handle it.
Yeah.
Your neck, not so much.
All right, that image is burned in my brain now for sure. Hips and chest, good. Neck, bad. Okay, what about airbags, though? I know they're supposed to, inflate and cushion you, but the article mentioned this 10-inch rule. What's that all about?
Yeah, the 10-inch rule, that's something a lot of people miss. Basically, it's for whoever's in the passenger seat. Yeah. You want to be at least 10 inches away from the dashboard at all times. That way the airbag has enough room to do its thing.
10 inches.
Yeah.
Seriously. I'm way closer than that. Usually, I always thought being closer to the dashboard was somehow better. Wow. Was I wrong?
It makes sense when you think about it. Like an airbag going off. That's a lot of force. Imagine if you're too close, it's like getting punched by a super strong balloon.
Okay, that's kind of funny and scary at the same time. Note to self-scoot back. So we've covered the physics of crashing and seatbelts and airbags. What else does this car survival guide talk about?
Okay, so next up is where to sit in the car for the best chance of surviving a crash. And this is where it gets really interesting, especially if you're riding shotgun.
Oh, I'm here for this. I'm all about that passenger seat life. So tell me, where's the safest spot?
So for you in the front passenger seat, the article really stresses how important it is to keep those feet flat on the floor. Imagine you're creating a solid base with your feet. You want to work with all the safety features of the car, not against them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to be planted, not flying around. Yeah. What about the back seat, though? Is it really safer back there?
Statistically, yes. And get this, the middle seat in the back. That's actually the safest spot in the whole car.
Wait, what? The middle? Not like the back seat behind the passenger. You're blowing my mind right now.
Yeah, a lot of people think that. But when you think about it, the middle seat is farthest away from all sides of car. So if you get hit from the side, you've got that extra space. And if the car rolls, you're less likely to get smashed against a door.
Wow, that's a serious aha moment for me. So much for calling shotgun. It's like the middle back seat is the safest secret in the car. Who knew? But, okay, that makes me think, what about kids? Car seats have their own whole set of rules, right?
Totally. And the article talks about this a lot. They say you should always follow those car seat guidelines really carefully. Like the kid's age, how big they are, how much they weigh, it all matters. They even say that middle back seat is usually the safest for kids too, but only if you can install a car seat there correctly.
So it might be more important to have them in the right car seat than to prioritize that middle spot.
Got it. What about pregnant women, though? Are there special things they should do?
For sure, Foyle Legal really stresses that the lap belt has to go below the belly, never across it. It's all about keeping both the mom and the baby safe in a crash. They even give you tips on how to adjust the shoulder strap so it's as safe and comfy as possible. See, these are those things you'd never think about until someone points them out. It's like so obvious now that you say it. What I like about this deep dive is that it doesn't feel scary. You know, it's all about giving us things we can actually do to stay safe.
Right. And that reminds me, the article also talks about things like taking a defensive driving course, which, hey, they can even save you money on your car insurance sometimes.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Right. But they also talk about something even more important, being mentally prepared. Like if you know how to stay calm and think clearly during a crash, that can be just as important as any safety feature in your car.
Yeah, freaking out never helps anyone. Speaking of being prepared,
Yeah.
what about that emergency kit they mentioned? The one everyone's supposed to have but never does.
You mean the one I've got in my trunk that I haven't touched in 6 months? Yeah. Well, they say to keep it simple but useful. A first aid kit, some water, snacks, a flashlight, just the basics. Just in case you ever get stuck somewhere.
Okay, so we have covered a lot today. I feel like I've learned so much about staying safe on the road. I hope you're listening and feeling the same way. So before we go, what's one thing you'll do differently because of all this?
I'm definitely going to be checking how far away I am from that dashboard from now on. That 10-inch rule was a total surprise. What about you?
I am seriously rethinking my shotgun strategy. That middle back seat thing was a game changer. But it also got me thinking about something the article didn't really get into. What about how you feel mentally and emotionally after a crash, even if it wasn't a bad one? I think we should all be more aware of that for ourselves and the people we care about.
That's a great point. It just shows you that car safety isn't just about airbags and seatbelts,
Yeah.
It's about being aware, being prepared, and looking out for each other when we're out on the road.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Drive safe, everyone.
Thank you for listening to WA Injury Claims Explained by Foyle Legal. We hope this episode helped clarify your rights and next steps in your injury claim. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and visit foylelegal.com for more useful information. See you next time.